All right, I'm live right now. Sunday afternoon, 2:15 p.m. on the East Coast. Just finished giving my Jeep a bath, giving my house a bath. I have not given myself a bath. That's probably something I should work on today. But when you have a basement, you could be as many as 2 floors away from the rest of the house. So I'm probably safe right now from the wrath of the rest of the family. Went to a Saturday was going to be an awesome day for me. I was going to go hit some estate sale, a flea market, and garage sales here in Pennsylvania, and I had high hopes, and which is opposite of what I usually subscribe to, which is hope for the prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So we hoped for the best and prepared for the best, but at the flea market I did all right. I got 9 baseball cards from Topps Chewing Gum Company. 5 were from 1970 baseball, and 4 were from 1972 baseball, all high numbers. Very excited about that. Down to 12 1972 Topps high numbers, down to 30 1970 Topps baseball cards. Most of those are high numbers as well. And it's kind of frustrating when I guess that's all part of collecting, but I have about 800 really nice 1970 Topps doubles, duplicates, dupes. I have probably about the same amount of 1972 Topps dupes, but when you need those last few, it's frustrating when you're sitting on a stack of dupes. I know say trade them, but that means interaction with other human beings, which doesn't always go well for me, so I don't trade because you got to deal with other people, and you have to deal with other people's expectations, which include their idea of what conditioning is and what they'll settle for. And as we know, between the professional grading companies, they can't even decide what is a excellent 5 or a VG3 or a 1.66 something something. So I don't spend too much time worrying about predicting grades, because if they're all over the place, me, the non-professional, is even more scatterbrained. So garage sale was a big strikeout. I tried to kind of up in Bumpkinville. I have the unique geographical pleasure of being within striking distance of Philadelphia, yet out in the sticks as well. So you kind of hope that some of these community-wide garage sales will reap a unpicked lot of nice vintage baseball cards that you see on the internet. Has not happened for me yet, unfortunately. Someday maybe it only takes one big hit until it makes it all worthwhile. So I will continue to try to find those cards that are hiding in somebody's shoe boxes or cigar boxes. This community garage sale, had some promise, as most of the homes, I don't know what it's like in the rest of the country, but we have a lot of 55 and over communities, and this was definitely one of those kind of setups where all one-level houses, kind of smallish, with garages, low maintenance for the residents, and mostly an older crowd, which is kind of gets you thinking at the age of 54, is that where I'm headed? And I can't wait till I get there, I guess. But you hope that somebody's trying to get rid of their old stuff, and in a community 55 and over, you're also hoping that the childhood cards obviously are not the early 90s, late 80s stuff. So let's get straight to it. I didn't get anything at the garage, so I did a nice chat with a gentleman about his Charger, his Dodge Charger. That I'm not a car guy, but somehow I've turned into my father as the Progressive commercials ring true to me, where I can I guess I can converse with most people about most things. I could fake it for a while. So that's what I did. I faked it with this guy. I thought it was a cool looking car, but I had no idea what I was talking about. So anyway, away we went. He invited me to a car show, and I said, yeah, maybe I'll go. Anyway, that's that. So the first stop of the day, I'm kind of going in reverse order. It was estate/garage sale, then flea market, where a gentleman sets up that I know often enough that he knows what I look like and recognizes me when I show up. So he's got a lot of great stuff, and I've bought from him in the past. High numbers, 72, 70s, 71s when I needed them. So anyway, that was second, and then the third stop was that community-wide 55 and over garage sale, as they say, over in Blighty. Struck out there. So back to the first stop. 8 in the morning, 7:45 in the morning. I pull up to a house. I've seen the signs all week: estate sale, garage sale, yummy, yummy, yummy. So it's a kind of a farm, an old farmhouse with an old farm garage across the street from what I assume is their barn as well. Looks like maybe somebody passed away or they've cashed out of their property. There's a lot of property near me, a lot of old farms. So perhaps they've moved on. But as I say, I live out in Pennsylvania, and you kind of see different people. So there's Mennonites that resided in this house. So I went through the estate sale, and there were wonderful toys such as tops and a wooden rocking horse and stuff like that. A lot of furniture, all that. So nothing inside other than home goods from Mennonites from probably, from the 1950s. The house really, I'm surprised if it had electricity, and I'm not joking. So pretty wild, though. It was kind of like going through a museum. But out in the garage sale on the way out, there were some items. So I went to a table, and up on the screen there, I found this little tray. It's actually a box. And this box, there was a sign on the, let's see if I can get this box there. Yeah, there was kind of a sign that said 4 for $25 or 4 for $8. So sheepishly, I grabbed this box and went to the nice lady, Mennonite lady with the apron by the cash register, and said, "How much is this?" I was confused as to whether each item was 25 cents or what. She says, "That's 25 cents." So, of course, I handed her a $20 bill and asked her for change. She gave me 75 cents. And then she gave me 4 ones, and then she gave me a 5 and a 10. I think that makes 20. And here I am with this stuff. So what I have here is Pottstown is a area outside of Philadelphia, and Pottstown Home Show. Gosh knows when that's been around. This is tickets for some reason that somebody saved from down at the shore. You drive your car down, and you can park by the beach, as well as take a shower when you're done. So that's a day pass for 2 people till 6 p.m. So this is old stuff, and obviously nobody really cares about this for sure. What do we have here? We have Hell Drivers, good only for the 1964 season. So Hell Drivers tonight at Auto Thrill Stadium, transportation section at New York World's Fair. $1, no refunds, no exchanges, 006687. Also has New York tax in there, I believe. Or, yeah. So that's pretty cool. I'll have to look up that and see what that is. Hell Drivers at the New York World Fair 1964. Back has pretty much says you're kind of screwed if you get run over by a motorcycle. Got some little ticket stubs here. Not sure what these are. Concert. Let's see. Something of music. Probably Academy of Music or something like that. Oh, it's an amphitheater, so I don't know what that is from. Oh, Academy of Music Amphitheater. I don't know where that is. 2 of those. This was on top of a keychain. Other ticket stubs. More ticket stubs from gosh knows what. Woody's Golf Center. So Woody's Golf Center was a pretty cool place near where I lived. And it's now a hospital. And this is from 1969. So this is your miniature golf where you play 9 holes of chip and putt. So it's kind of neat to see that. I think I'll hold on to that. More orchestra stuff. This is another ticket stub. Gosh knows what that is. Don't care. This I thought was kind of cool. So this is from the Pottstown Firebirds, Grigg Memorial Field. Pottstown Firebirds were a semi-pro team, I guess, in the way Wikipedia. Maybe I'll look that up here real quick. Give me a second, see what I can find, and we'll read about it together. Pottstown Firebirds. All right, so let me share my screen here if you guys don't mind. 2 people are here. Appreciate that. Share. Let's share. Share a screen. Share a window. Bam. There you go. The Pottstown Firebirds. Professional American football minor league team and member of the Atlantic Coast Football League from 1968 to 1970. The Pottstown Firebirds were former NFL players, former college football players, and former high school football players who loved to play the game of football. The Firebirds were originally a farm club of the Philadelphia Eagles and were provided with equipment, helmets, already emblazoned with the Eagles' wings. Only a few Firebirds ever moved up to NFL teams. The Firebirds' affiliation with the Philadelphia Eagles was short-lived and was withdrawn in 1970. The Pottstown Firebirds played their home games at Pottstown High School Stadium. In their final 2 seasons of existence in Pottstown, 69 and 70, the Firebirds won the league championship. Well, that's pretty cool. Pottstown is not that far away from me, probably about 10 minutes away. And part of the school district I'm in, some of the houses are considered Pottstown because we live in a rural area, which typically we designate the nearest larger post office as our town, even though we don't live in that town. So let's see here. We'll talk about some key landmarks. Let's talk about the 1970 season. They played the Hartford Knights on October 17th, 1970. And I can only imagine that's what that ticket's from, right? Because, let's see here. It says Hartford Knights, and it says, so I imagine that's the only time they played the Hartford Knights that game, and looks like they beat the crap out of everybody. Well, most of the players, most of the other teams that year. So, the roster that year had Sean Patrick, Jimmy Corcoran at quarterback, Jack Dublin as wide receiver. Let me see if I get this back on here. Any other famous people? Bill Stetz, defensive tackle. Let's click their hyperlinks. Sean Patrick, Jimmy Corcoran. What do you got going on? He went to Maryland, and he played for the Eagles in 71. He played for the Norfolk Neptunes, the Montreal Alouettes, the Chambersburg Cardinals, and the Philadelphia Bell in the WFL in 74, 75. So that there was a professional football player, Jack Dublin, Chicago Fire of the WFL, and 75 through 79, he played for the Denver Broncos. And we got one more hyperlink in here. That's Bill Stetz. Who knows Bill Stetz? Bill Stetz played for the Eagles in 1967, and I guess moved right on to the Firebirds in Pottstown. So that is that. Let's stop that screen, see what else we have in here. Pottstown Firebirds ticket. Phillies ticket from, let's see here, June 11th, 1994, 7:05 p.m. versus the St. Louis Cardinals. And what sticks out about this to me is section 717 is where I used to sit for the Philadelphia Eagles football games when I had season tickets. And I have a picture of my son, probably about 4 years old, going to his first Philly game right underneath the section 717 sign. I sat in the second to last row for the Eagles game, so this was a Phillies game. So I'm wondering, that's 1994, I'm wondering what was going on there, because to buy a section 717 ticket means you were way, way away from the action. So let me look up that game here. We'll learn about this game together. Let's see here. Baseball. Boom. Let's see. Baseball reference. Phillies. 1994. All right. So, of course, back then we had Danny Jackson, Bobby Munoz, Darren Daulton, Doug Jones, Lenny Dykstra, David West, Fernando Valenzuela was on that team for the Phillies, Jim Eisenreich, John Kruk, Heathcliff, Slocum, Kurt Schilling, and Mickey Morandini. So let's look for whatever date that is. What date did we say that was? Let's see here. Talking June 11th. June 11th we're talking about. All right. Let's see here. Versus the Cardinals, right? All right, June. So the Phillies lost that game. The Cardinals 7-4, and at that point the Phillies were 30-32 after that game. So for the Cardinals, you had some Bernard Gilkey, Geronimo Pena, Greg Jeffries, hobby hero Greg Jeffries, Todd Zeal, of which I'm a super collector apparently, Ray Langford, Brian Jordan, Tom Pagnazzi, the Wizard of Oz, Omar Olivares, and was the starting pitcher. Went pretty deep too. Phillies Dykstra lit off, Mariana Duncan, Ricky Jordan was supposed to be a big hope there. Darren Daulton looks like he went yard. Eisenreich, Incaviglia, Kim Baptiste, Kevin Stocker, and Sean Boesky was your starter for the Phillies. Home runs by Darren Daulton. It was his 13th of the year. Over there in Cardinals, Greg Jeffries hit his 6th of the year, and Ray Langford hit his 13th of the year. And Olivares won his first game going 6 2/3 innings. Sean Boesky, 5 2/3 innings. Hung with a loss on that one. There was 39,065 at that game. That's not bad, right, for a back yonder game in a big, empty, cold stadium, veteran stadium. So, yeah, that's that. Let's look at the next one, shall we? Let's see here. This one is the Yankee Stadium. This is the Toronto Blue Jays versus the New York Yankees, September 13th, 1985. It says it's a night game, $9.75, section 649. That sounds far away, too. Upper box, yada, yada, yada. So for $9.75, you got to see the 85 Blue Jays versus the 85 Yankees. That was Friday, September 13th. Let me look at that real quick. Let's look at the Yankees. 85. Boom. There's the Phillies again. All right, 1985 New York Yankees. As we know, Donnie Baseball was playing back then, right? Again, that was September 13th, 1985. So let's see, September 13th. The Yankees were on quite a roll back then. If you're looking at Baseball Reference, right? Look at that. Late August, early September, and then they went into the crapper apparently right. This was the first game of a losing streak. 86-54, the Yankees were at that point. Blue Jays were 89-52. Blue Jays won that game 3-2. Looked like a real pitching duel. Runs scored in the second, third, and fifth inning. Lineup for the Blue Jays was Tony Fernandez, Lloyd Mosby, Rance Molnix, George Bell, Al Oliver, Willie Upshaw, Ernie Witt, Jesse Barfield, and Garth Orge. There were some good players in that on that team. Jim Clancy was the pitcher. Again, 3-2, small ball. I guess Al Oliver hit a triple, so that was the big one of the game, and that was probably a 3 RBI, or I couldn't have been a 3 RBI, probably a 2 RBI there in the third inning, which we can find out. So for the Yankees that day, check out this lineup, folks. For the Yankees, Ricky Henderson, Ken Griffey Sr., Don Mattingly, Dave Winfield, Ron Hasse, Dan Pasqua, Mike Pagliarulo, Willie Randolph, and Bobby Meacham. Butch Weiniger was a pinch hitter. He's an all-star catcher back in the 70s. Jim Clancy was your not winning pitcher. Gary Lavelle ended up being your winning pitcher. Phil Negro went 9 innings, giving up 8 hits, 3 runs, and was the loser. 15-10 he would go that up to that point. There were absolutely No home runs. Don Mattingly got his 125th RBI of the year that game. So pretty outstanding there. Don Mattingly ramping up for his prime. Pretty darn cool. Sixers, we got a Sixers ticket in here. Charles Barkley, the round mound of rebound against the Chicago Bulls. Game 31 of the, what would that be? The 1992 season. So you know he was playing Michael Jordan. Let me see if I can dig up some stats on that game. 1982 Sixers. Maybe it's 81, 82, or 1991, 92. Sorry about that. Let's look at that again. 91, 92 Sixers. Okay, that didn't work well. All right, I can go back this way, I guess. 91, 92 Sixers. Let's look at that season. This would have been game on March 8th. So let me share my screen here. Going down to one listener/viewer. I appreciate you sticking around. Maybe this wasn't a good idea, but it's fun learning about this stuff. 91, 92 Sixers. That would have been March something. So against the Bulls, right? And March 8th, Sixers really sucked back then. March 8th, 1992, 103-99 Sixers. The Bulls were 103, the Sixers 99. Like I said, the Bulls were 51-12. The Sixers were 29-32. Starting lineup that night for your Chicago Bulls were Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, John Paxson, and Bill Cartwright. For the Sixers, we had Charles Barkley, Armin Gilliam, Hershey Hawkins, Johnny Dawkins, and Jeff Ruland. The Bulls were in the thick of things back then. Jordan scored 34 points that night, shot .462, only one 3-point attempt, and he missed that. So I'm not sure if that game has any relevance in history, but Dick Bavetta, Blaine Reichelt, and George Tolliver were your officials with an attendance of 18,168. Fine Philadelphians that night. So let's stop that share screen. See what else we got here. Got a Dodgers ticket from 1995. Phillies Dodgers, section 720. Boy, these people didn't spend much money at all up in the 700 level. 700 level was notorious for being a little rambunctious, especially during football games. Someday I'll tell stories about that, maybe. What is this? This is August 26th, 1995. Phillies probably lost, unless it was a day off. August 26th, right? Wow, the Phillies were on a little bit of a roll in late August 2005. Beat the Dodgers 9-4. It was a night game. Started at 7:07. There were 30,126 people in attendance. 9-4 Phillies. Phillies and the Dodgers following that game both had a 59 and 54 record. For the Dodgers, they Brett Butler, Jose Offerman, the late Jose Offerman, hometown hero Mike Piazza, Eric Karros, going to be a monster. Raul Mondesi was going to be a monster. Delino DeShields grew up in Delaware. Almost played basketball at Villanova. It's signed with the Expos instead. Tim Wallach was at third base, solid third baseman for sure. A guy named Chad Fonville was in left field, and Ishmael Valdez was your starting pitcher. Didn't last long, it looks like. For the Phillies, oh, by the way, Piazza hit 2 home runs that night, 24 total for the season up to that point. His RBI total was only 64 at that point, which is strange. Phillies starting line at Mickey Morandini, Kevin Stocker, Jim Eisenreich, Mark Whitten, Charlie Hayes, Andy Van Slyke, Lenny Webster, Kevin Elster, and Sid Fernandez, El Cid. Nobody hit a home run for the Phillies. They played small ball and won big, 9-4. Valdez, 11-8 would be your losing pitcher. Sid Fernandez would go 5-5 at that point, and that is that, folks. Uh, One run by the Dodgers in the first inning, and then four in the bottom of the fourth. I'm sorry, 8 in the bottom of the fourth for the Phillies. Dodgers tried to claw their way back, but the Phillies comfortably ahead the rest of the way. Again, appears to be no home runs for the Phillies, and only 2 doubles. So there was a lot of base running, I would imagine, going on there. Wow, I didn't know Andy Van Slyke was center fielder for the Phillies. I missed that when I announced that, did I not? So yeah, Andy Van Slyke, stolen bases and whatnot. So, and I didn't share my screen there. I apologize. How rude. Boom. So here's the box score from that night. Phillies, Dodgers, August 26th, 1995. Let's go to the next ticket stub. This is St. Louis Cardinals. Did we do that one already? I feel like we did that one already. Let me take a look. It's a different Cardinals ticket, or is it? This was June 6th, 1992. June 6th, 1992 for the Phillies. Let's go find this together. Let's get some information on this this game here. 1992, right? Baseball Reference is awesome. Let's type it in, and you can't hide from Baseball Reference. June 6th. Again, this was a big team here for the Phillies. We had Dalton, Dave Hollins, Schilling, Kruk, Ben Rivera, Lenny Dykstra, Terry Mulholland, Stan Javier, Mickey Morandini, Mariano Duncan, Ricky Jordan, and Juan Bell were your top 12 Warriors. Back to the ball game. June 6th against the mighty Cardinals from St. Louis. Let's see. Looks like a Phillies victory, folks. Home team wins. Phillies win 7-5, would go 25-27 on the year at that point. Cardinals dropped to 27-26. 5 big runs from the Cardinals out of the gate in the top of the first, and then the Phillies just chip away. One run, 2 runs, and they would score 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th to go ahead for the rest of the game. Ray Langford, starting center fielder. Ozzie Smith at short. Felix Jose. Andres Galarrago was your cleanup hitter. Pedro Guerrero hitting 5th. Todd Zeile, Tom Pagnozzi, Jose Kendo, and Mark Clark was your starting pitcher for the Cardinals. Dykstra, Duncan, Hollins, Kruk, Dalton, Dale Swaim, Ruben Amaro, Mickey Morandini, and Don Robinson was the starting pitcher for the Phillies. Ruben Amaro would hit his 4th home run of the year, 2nd inning. Deep right field, it says. Other than that, we had a bunch of doubles, a triple by Mickey Morandini. Mike Hartley would win that game by coming in the 7th inning, pitching the 7th and the 8th, and scooping up a victory. Mitch Williams would get his 11th save of the season. 28,257 citizens in attendance at Veterans Stadium that evening. Yeah, so that's that. Let's move on to the next ticket, shall we? This one has promise, I feel. Smaller ticket. This is Colorado Rockies from 1993. So this is, I believe, the year the Phillies went to the World Series. I remember being in rehearsals for a tour at that point. So 6/5/93. Let's see if I can move this thing around here so it stops auto-focusing. Okay, 6/5/1993. So 1993 Phillies again, the National League champions that year. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the Rockies' first year in existence. Maybe. I remember going to a Rockies game in Colorado, maybe in 1994, the spring of 94. So I think 93 might have been the first game. And obviously the Rockies played at Mile High Stadium back then. So this is June 5th, 1993. See what we got here. Ooh, looks like the Phillies were hot at that point. Boom. Boom. All right, so let's bring on the stats from that game. Got no listeners at this point, no watchers. I don't blame you guys. Share. Let's share screen. Okay. Boom. All right. So 6-2 Phillies win. Phillies would go 37-16. The Colorado Rockies 16-39 at that point. Let's click the Rockies for a second, see where it takes us. Don't know. Don Baylor was their manager back yonder. Believe that? Anyway, 43,837 in attendance. Game was 2 hours and 35 minutes long. Starting lineup for those Colorado Rockies was Eric Young Sr., Chris Jones, Dante Bichette, Andres Galarraga again. Different team. Darryl Boston, Charlie Hayes again. Danny Schaefer and Vinny Castilla was playing shortstop. You believe that? And Armando Reynoso was your starting pitcher. Phillies had a lineup of Dykstra, Morandini, John Kruk, Hollins, Dalton, Eisenreich, Incaviglia, Kim Baptiste, and Tommy Green was the pitcher that game. Dave Hollins hit his 9th home run off of Reynoso. Phillies would score again. Phillies would give up another run in the top of the first, and then score 3 in the second, 1 in the fifth, and 2 in the sixth. Again, 6-2 victory. Tommy Green was your winner. He would pitch a complete game, going 8-0 for the season. 7 hits, 2 runs, lowering his ERA to 1.87. Reynoso hung with the loss. Again, 2 hours, 35 minutes of game time there. That's not bad. Wish we could do that again. Might have me go to a game if they did that. Here we go here. What is this? This is a National League Championship Series ticket from 1983. This is Game 3. So, National League Championship ticket, Game 3. Doesn't have a date on it because, as we know, they would print these tickets up and without opponents on them or anything like that. So no date, no opponents. They would just print them up and see what happens, and then they'd run them through the computer to put your section and all that stuff. So 1983, Game 3. Let's see where that takes us. 1983 Phillies. Phillies, of course, would win that series and go play the Baltimore Orioles in the World Series and lose to the Orioles. Cal Ripken's only World Championship. Let's see what we got here. See if we can go down to the games. Schedule and results. Let's see here. This is regular season stuff. Be nice if we could watch the playoffs. Give me a second. Let me get you over here with me. Very selfish. Share screen. All right, so let's see here. Game 162, Game 163. This is not helping at all. See if I can find some playoff action here. Game 3 of the playoffs. Let's try this. 1983, Game 3, National League. See if this does anything for us. Okay, I got it. I got you. All right. So here we go. All right. Best of 5 between the LA Dodgers and the Philadelphia Phillies. It was the 15th NLCS in all. Phillies beat the Dodgers 3-1 and will go on to lose the World Series, as I said, to Baltimore. So Game 3 was held on October 7th at Veterans Stadium, 53,490 in attendance. Phillies would win 7-2. And wait till you check out this lineup here. If you don't already know what's coming, where do you see this lineup here? First of all, Charles Hudson won the game, and Bob Welch lost the game for the Dodgers. Mike Marshall, home run for the Phillies, or for the Dodgers, first baseman, I guess, at that point. Gary Matthews for the Phillies. With the series shifting to Philadelphia, Dodgers starter Bob Welch was pulled from the game in the second after walking 2 with 1 out. A wild pitch and pass ball by reliever Alejandro Pena scored the game's first run. After Bo Diaz walked, Ivan De Jesus' RBI ground out made it 2-0 Phillies. Next inning, Joe Lefever's sacrifice fly with 2 on made it 3-0 Phillies. In the top of the fourth, rookie Charles Hudson allowed a leadoff single. Then a two-out home run by Mike Marshall to cut the Phillies' lead 3-2. However, Hudson only allowed 2 other hits and pitched a complete game. Gary Matthews' leadoff home run in the bottom of the inning extended the Phillies' lead to 4-2. Next inning, Dodger reliever Rick Honeycutt allowed 1-out single and double. Then Matthews' 2-run single off of Joe Beckworth made it 6-2 Phillies. Matthews hit another RBI single in the 7th off of Pat Zachary in the 7th. And my wife's printing something next to me. So yeah, that's that. Let's see what we got here between the Phillies and the blah blah blahs. Paul Owens was the manager of the Phillies that year. I believe he replaced somebody else, and Tommy Lasorda, obviously the manager of the Phillies of the Dodgers. My bad. So here's your lineup. Here you had catchers Darren Dalton, Bo Diaz, and Ozzie Virgil. Infielders Louis Aguayo, Tim Corcoran, Avonde Jesus, Kiko Garcia, Steve Jeltz, Len Matuzik, Larry Milbourne. But here's where it gets fun. Joe Morgan, Tony Perez, Bill Robinson, Pete Rose, Juan Samuel, and Mike Schmidt. Outfielders that year, Bob Denier, Greg Rose, Von Hayes, Joe Lefevre, or Lefay, whatever you want to say that, Sixto Lescano, Gary Maddox, Gary Matthews, Alejandro Sanchez, and Jeff Stone. 2 managers that year, Pat Corrales and Paul Owens. So, yeah, that was good. So, let's stop sharing that, see what we got here next. Regular season game from that same season, July 18th, 1983. Here's a game against the Cubs in 1980, July 10th, 1980. Let me look up that one if you don't mind. Humor me. Phillies 1980. Of course, the Phillies would win the World Championship that year. Second greatest moment in Philadelphia sports, I want to say. And that was on July 10th, 1980. Having trouble focusing on that. Let's see if this works a little bit better. Might not work at all. It's so faded. That ticket's so faded. So get rid of this. 1980 ticket stub. That's how they used to look back then after they were ripped. July 10th, we say. So let's go here. Hey, dog, what's up? This was my favorite Phillies lineup of all time, obviously. Carlton, Schmidt, McGraw, Trio, McBride, Ruthven, Lonnie Smith, I want to say that is, yep. Gary Maddox, Marty Bystrom, Larry Christensen, Del Unser, and Nino Espinosa, top 12 players that year. July 10th. Sounds like a real hot one. July 10th. Phillies were in a bit of a slump back then, I guess, in the dog days of summer. This was the first game after the All-Star game. Not sure where the All-Star game was. Phillies won 5-3 over the Cubs. It was a Thursday. Attendance was 33,000, and the game was 2 hours, 38 minutes. Cubs, 2 runs in the top of the first inning. I don't know what the Phillies were thinking. Every game, it seems, they gave up a run or so in the top of the first. But Avonde Jesus was a Cubs player. Obviously, in '83, he'd be a Phillies player. Lenny Randle, Bill Buckner was at first base. Mike Vail, Jerry Martin, Jesus Figueroa, Tim Blackwell was the catcher. Mike Tyson, not that Mike Tyson, and Mike Krukow, who eventually would be a Philly as well, was your starting pitcher for the Phillies. Lonnie Smith led off, Pete Rose second, Bake McBride third, Mike Schmidt fourth, Gary Maddox fifth, Manny Trio sixth, Larry Boa seventh, Bob Boone eighth, and Dick Ruthven was your starting pitcher. I imagine Greg Luzinski might have been injured or took off that day. Lonnie Smith did hit a triple. Mike Schmidt did hit a double. Other than that, it was all singles. Dick Ruthven, your winning pitcher at 8-5, went 8 innings, gave up 11 hits. This game, Mike Krukow 6-10 would be your losing pitcher. Time of the game again 2 hours 38 minutes. Boy, they could really get those games going back then. All right, let's see what we got here. Chicago Bears, Philadelphia Eagles, section 579. Don't know when this game was, so I can't do anything about that. Now, what I found was really cool was this. This is a rain check from Clark Griffith Stadium, 38th game of the year. No cash refund. It says has Clark Griffith imprinted auto on there to make it official. General admission ticket $1.50. Good only day of sale. Again, top says American League Baseball Club, Washington, D.C., Clark Griffith Stadium. Rain check, if legal, game is not played. Exchange for, what's it say? Let me read it a little closer. Boy, guess who didn't bring their glasses? Exchange the stub at box office for this priced ticket for subsequent date. No cash refund. Clark A. Griffith. I believe that's Clark A. Griffith. Maybe it's somebody else, but president. Back of the ticket has a bunch of disclaimers, I'm sure. Let's see what that says. By the acceptance and use of this ticket, the holder agrees that during the progress of the baseball game or exhibition to which this ticket entitles the holder to be admitted, he will not be directly or indirectly transmit or aid in the transmission of any report. So you couldn't tell people what was going on in a game. They didn't even have cell phones back then. Isn't that funny that you're prevented from passing information on somehow? Account or result, either partial or complete, of this baseball game or exhibition beyond the limits of the park in which such game or exhibition is played. If this ticket is lost or destroyed, no allowance or replacement will be made. No return checks issued. This is from the, hold on a second, Marcus Ancus Simplex Brown Inc., New York City. So is that Clark Griffith's auto under there? Maybe it's his son. I don't know. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. I paid 25 cents for all these ticket stubs. Got myself a little leather purse and a nice little ceramic bowl here from Harleysville, 1965 Harleysville Savings and Loan Association. And it says that your savings, folks, are insured up to $10,000. So anyway, 25 cents, and I've gone on for 42 minutes, so I'd say I got my money's worth there. So thanks for stopping by, and I appreciate it. Have a great, great, great rest of your day. Thank you.